Okay, stop. I know you love Halloween, but seriously? A horror game on Halloween? How cliche can you be? Oh yeah? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. How about a top 10 skeleton bone characters in non-horror games? How about that for a twist? Put that in your Shyamalan games. You take that back. You know why? Because my YouTube career is not dead yet, so it's not gonna be on this list. Though it is more like it's on life support. I'll show you where I keep my hopes and dreams though. They're all alive and well. Look. Oh god! They're spooky, they're scary, they're... And nowhere are they more prominent or distinguished than in video games. So to prove a point, here's my top skeletons in non-horror video games. Cause horror is too mainstream. Hey River, what do you call a skeleton when nobody's around? Bonely!
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Let's start easy. As terrible as my Undertale review was, I still had a ton of fun doing it. And to this very day, I can safely say that Undertale is one of my favorite games of all time.
The gameplay is fantastic, the battle system is super smooth, the characters and story are heartwarming, and the multiple endings based on the decisions you make in-game? Also good. But there are two characters that truly really made me love the game. Sans and Papyrus.
The two comic skeletons... Wait. Comic Sans.
Do you ever feel like breaking down?
The two comic skeletons have such great personalities and a touching backstory that Undertale wouldn't be the same without them. Plus, Megalovania is such a dope song. So yeah, Sans and Papyrus. That was easy.
Fighting games always had the pleasure of having the strangest, weirdest, most eclectic roster of characters. You have bears, space dragons, little tiny dinosaurs, beds, freaking beds.
But all these pale in comparison to the monster class, skeletons. I personally have always had a passion for fighting games, whether it was playing Super Smash Bros. For Christmas with my cousins and family members, or bud mashing on Tekken because I didn't have an understanding of fighting game fundamentals. They've always had a big influence on my taste in video games, and one of those is Killer Instinct.
A resurrected pirate with an insatiable thirst for battle, Spinal takes the spotlight here. In later iterations, Spinal's pirate design is accentuated to reflect the pirate theme, and his combos and movesets let him manipulate the meters and drain opponents as well. Plus, his theme is awesome. I wonder if Cervantes and Spinal hang out at the pub telling stories of their undead exploits.
Okay, so this next one I really needed just to fill this list with 10 skeletons. 10 skeletons who have had an influence in gaming. 10 skeletons, that in itself is already bare bones. You try. You try. Lucky for you though, I did it. I did all the work so you wouldn't have to. They told me, Madman. And I told them no. Mario in a skeleton costume is a skeleton.
Super Mario Odyssey is the best 3D Mario game ever. And that's a fact. From running around in the frozen sands of Tostarena to the Tim Burton-esque land of Bonneton, Mario gets to see some crazy sights. But my favorite part of the whole game are the costumes.
I've already talked about all the costumes in Super Mario Odyssey in their own video, and that's just how much I really like the costume system. But the skeleton costume is just so goofy. I mean, look at it!
Is this proof that Mario is more of a bonehead than anyone on this list?
Look at his nose! That's solid bone! Guess this costume gives him that feeling like he's got a hole in his stomach? Ha! Oh, come on, that was funny!
The Super Mario universe always has a wide cast of characters, from toads to tadpoles, but none are more varied than the enemies.
You got Goombas, Koopa Troopas, Piranha Plants, all ready and willing to do Bowser's bidding, but none more diligent than the Dry Bones.
Yeah, Dry Bones. Originally appearing in Super Mario Bros. 3, they come in all shapes and sizes. When Mario stomps them, they just come back and reanimate, ready to attack.
But after a long day of work, even Dry Bones needs a chance to, well, rest his bones. So a lot of times you'll see him racing carts or rolling dice.
Just like Boos and Koopa Troopas, the Dry Bones also appear alongside Mario and the cast in other spin-off party games.
Dry Bones for Smash? It's gonna happen. This next character is personally my favorite bone skeleton character. And the game that he comes from isn't technically a horror game, but it is pretty dark.
Dark Souls, one of my favorite video game series of all time. Dark Souls 3 was a beautiful game. Dark Souls 2, well, I mean, it was long, but Dark Souls 1 is so good.
The story is kind of hard to follow, but pretty much Gravelord Nito, Gwyn, the Witch of Izalith, Seath the Traitor, all waged war against the dragons. After defeating the dragons, the four lords brought about the Age of Fire. Long story short, you pretty much play as the chosen undead who is going to put an end to the four lords, end the Age of Fire, and bring about the Age of Darkness.
Of the four Lords of Flame, Gravelord Nito is probably my favorite. He's just a mass of bones and skeletons to make an even greater sentient skeleton. And this boss fight is actually pretty spooky.
Not gonna lie, I didn't know what to expect when going up against Gravelord Nito, but in the end, as a whole, Dark Souls is one of those games I'm proud to say I've conquered, and I actually go back to quite often. Okay, what do you call a lonely skeleton? Because he didn't have a body! Wait. Huh? What's that? How about a skeleton character that has his own game? Well, I've got the game for you.
Medieval for PlayStation 1. Our protagonist, Sir Daniel, is hailed as the hero of Gallowmere who thwarted the villain Zarok.
When in actuality, Sir Daniel led the charge against Zorak, but was actually killed by the first arrow of the war. The whole story was a cover-up to protect his integrity, pretty much. I don't know why.
So pretty much Sir Daniel is running through levels, completing missions, and trying to reach Zarok, all the while becoming the true hero to Gallowmere.
Now before you ask, it's not. This is not a horror game. It's not. It's just not. It's horror themed, but it's not a horror game. That's not cheating!
I never really grew up with FZero on the Super Nintendo, but I played a ton of GX with my friends, family members on the GameCube.
Let me tell you, right off the bat, this game is hard. Like, tough as bones hard. Oh. So that brings us to our next character. The Skull.
The Skull in his own time was once a great pilot in his own right. Wanting to stave off death, he used black magic and a combination of science to make himself immortal.
And he looks like a more hardcore papyrus, so make of that what you will. Plus, his theme is literally a metal version theme of Jason, complete with the however they do it. Nintendo, give me FZero for the Switch. Please. I'll never ask for anything again. I love BanjoKazooie. The adventure, the platforming, the controls, the music. It's so good. It's so good.
What can be said about this series that hasn't already been said? So then let's talk about our skull-faced shaman. In the game we learned that Mumbo was originally a teacher to Gruntilda, who turned his head into a skull sometime in the past.
What? That's important.
Throughout the game, Mumbo transforms Banjo and Kazooie into different forms to help them explore different areas.
Mumbo's not really a skeleton. He's got a skull face. His currency is skulls. He counts. You guys know I love Donkey Kong Country. The whole series is one of my favorite platformers of all time. It just brings back great nostalgic memories for me. And I have to include it in my list. What list of mine would be complete without a game from the Donkey Kong Country series? Cackles. You don't know what cackles are? No? It's not when your ankles connect to your calves.
In DKC2, in the second area of Gloomy Gulch, you'll find yourself on another minecart stage.
And you know how much I love these.
As the track starts, you'll come across a gate with a cackle waiting for you. These are pretty much just giant, floating, ghostly skeleton kremlings. As you ride along the track, you have to collect the green plus barrels to keep Diddy and Dixie away from the cackle.
As a kid, I already hated the minecart stages, but add a creepy Kremlin chasing you, a timer, it all added to the tension. And that's why I'll always remember this stage for that alone. Now the number one skeletons in gaming are you ready? Because this will shock you. It'll shock you to your, say it with me, it'll shock you to your bones. Oh yeah, that would have fit. The stalls from The Legend of Zelda. I don't know why I did that.
Throughout the years, the stall creatures have taken many forms. Stallfos, Stalldras, even Captain Stallfos from the Zelda classic, freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land.
A classic. But the stall creatures that I think are the most impressive are the nighttime creeps from Breath of the Wild.
You have the Bokoblins, the Lizalfos, the Moblins, and the Hinox all have their stall forms, but no Stallfos. You know, the humanoid ones.
In Breath of the Wild, Link also fights against these skeletal spooks at night, and you'll also come across their different variations like the Stallnox.
You can only defeat them by damaging their eye, and as with the other Stallfos, they're only defeated completely by destroying their head.
And, well, there you have it. My top favorite skeletons in gaming. Told you it could be done. And besides, I kind of want to go back and play all these games again anyways. They'd make for perfect videos. What are you even playing? Operation Rainfall? What is that? Here, let me see.
Guys, thank you so much for watching the return of 2Stronkk. Sorry I kept you waiting. Life happens. And I'm really excited to start doing videos again too, as it's just a blast to edit and produce them, all the while talking about video games. So thank you. Thank you for sticking with me, and until next time, I'll see you later.